Happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to this week's Heart Connection. Kristen and I are here with Kai, best bud, to talk about goals and identity. We started the conversation in 2021, hi Kai, discussing what our goals are or who we wanted to become more of by way of achieving something in 2020. And today we're going to take a step back and make sure that who we are is in alignment with the goal that we want to achieve so that the likelihood of it happening is even greater. So that's where we're going to start today. So how are you, Kristen?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Now remind everyone, this wasn't the first goal that came to mind for you in 2021. I believe it's a goal that you were like, duh, of course, this is what I want in 2021. What is your goal for 2021?
My goal for 2021 is that by June, I want to have my first children's book published. So I've self-published a tiny little mini book. So I mean like my full-length version, illustrated and printed and published ready to be handed out to people by June or the end of June. Let's say the end of June 2021.
End of June 2021. So that would be June 30th, 2021?
Yeah.
Awesome. How does it feel to say that goal?
It feels good. Recently it's become more real. So it feels like something that is becoming a reality.
You're in the process. So when you think about your identity and who you are now in order to be that published author, what are some of the things that you've already done as far as who you are as a person to get you closer to that goal?
The first thing that I'd done was I needed a definition of my own of what is an author or who is an author. And when I wrote that or figured that out, what my definition for that was an author is somebody that writes. And by that definition, I already had become an author. The next steps were the publishing part. So yeah, writing. I needed to figure out once I figured out the identity of who an author is and if I'm there or how do I get there. The next thing was to take steps to become a published author versus an author.
Yeah. What are the aspects of your current identity that you want? Is your current identity match up with who you need to be that published author, or is there any areas you're still working through?
Yeah, yes to both. So the current identity, what really helped me get to the point of saying I am a published author, wasn't taking a bold step of asking our friend Eric if I could put my little abracadabra book with his abracadabra blocks. So I made a mini book and so took a bold action there and printed out, put together, mailed to him some books and started passing them out so that the book could get out there. And then once that happened, I realized there was a desire for more. And I also have a book that has been sitting for a while. So the next step was to start taking action on that. And part of it, I think, was opening myself. No, take out the I think. Part of it was opening up myself to welcoming in the idea of finding an illustrator. So I needed to start reaching out to people. I got to start reaching out to people, figuring out what people charge, and I also chose to show up to another friend's workshop. She asked me my goals, and that was one of my goals. And I happened to meet somebody that prints books, and she wanted to talk with me. So I figured out, got a few quotes, figured out what it costs to print books, so that everything was starting to come together, that I could view it as a reality. Like, all right, to make this real, these are the costs that are going to go into it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
investment that you'll have to make to take that step forward.
Mm-hmm. And that's a big part, like making that decision. Am I going to say that's too much money, so I'm going to continue to put this on hold, or look at it as I am investing in myself, and seeing if those people can either work out a payment plan with me, or looking into what options do I have in order to make this dream into a reality, make the goal a reality. So yeah, once I also had that money, the money became part of the goal. It allows me to start breaking down into, like, for me, how many tutoring times do I need, or how many coaching sessions do I need to do, or that, like, what would this be, how much do I need to set aside in order to get here. So
Yeah. It reminds me of a quote that I heard a couple of years ago, and I have it hanging in my bathroom. And the quote talks about, and I'm going to use different words. The quote talks about how it's not going to be easier to be the person 5 years from now that you want to be if you're not willing to do the things now that you need to do in order to become that person, right? So if it's hard for you to publish a book from your example now because you don't have X, Y, or Z, it's not going to suddenly be easier in 5 years from now because you're 5 years older, right? Or you have this other wisdom. Like, you're still going to have to do certain things in order to get to that point. And it's the reality of that. Sometimes we have to take actions that are uncomfortable or messy at times, or we're unsure 100% if this is the right action, yet it's the best action at the time.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, if a goal is to buy a house, you're likely not going to be able to do it the second you decide it. However, if you wait 5 years, before acting on it too, you're likely to be in the exact same situation 5 years later.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So in order to continue to bring your identity in alignment with who you need to be that published author by June 30th, 2021, you've already taken the step of taking that bold move and contacting Eric and asking if you could self-publish a book, going through the process of putting that book together, sending it to him. You've also taken the step of going to a workshop, meeting somebody that connected you with somebody else to find out about the costs of printing and publishing and all those aspects. And then you've also connected yourself with other individuals who are also interested in helping you on that journey. Mm-hmm. So from where you are now to where you need to be on June 30th, 2021, what other steps do you perceive now in your mind that you need to take in order to walk closer to that identity? Is there anything that you're aware of now that you need to do?
Yeah, great question. I just a little under a week ago had a conversation connected with somebody who wants to do graphic design, and somebody who wants to illustrate for me. And they, while I was talking with them, like, they made the good point of, we need to start setting out deadlines for figuring out, like, when we want the book published by. So in that, I needed to figure out, like, how long does it take to print a book? What's the deadline there? So that from that, looking at when I want the book done by to how long it takes to print the books, that gives me an idea for how long the illustrator has in order to make the illustrations. And that also gives the graphic designer an idea of how long she has to do the finishing touches on the book. So yeah, knowing that there's a deadline has put in place, like there are all these steps I didn't realize existed until last week.
Yeah.
So I also, that requires me going through and putting on my final edits for the book and getting it to where I'm ready for it to be published. So that means it's time for me to sit down and go through a few more edits and polishes. And
So one aspect of your identity is becoming even more crystal clear on what you want that book to say, and then communicating that with now the other individuals who are part of this journey, this process with you. And also, I would imagine what you were saying is also improving your own communication so that everyone knows, okay, this is the schedule that we're going to meet. And communicating that in a way that people can be successful and understand, and to know the end in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So communication, all the little parts where it's being a good communicator, being a leader, being organized, like getting all the steps down in order to make that goal become real.
Yeah. And all those problem solving aspects that are sprinkled in across it too. Yeah.
Which are your favorite part?
Yeah. So so I know in a couple of weeks we're going to be talking again about goals and about where everyone is at in the process. So this would be a great point for us to come back and see, because you're going to be farther along in the process and you'll be closer to to each of those deadlines that you're working towards. So check in to see, is there any other aspects of your identity that you notice?
The biggest one is trusting myself and believing when I say, like, for me, it's repeating, I'm an author, or I'm a published author. I have a team. I succeed at what I do. Like creating affirmations that cement in my head so that I can believe it. And writing down the end goal too, and feeling it now in the present, because being able to feel that feeling in the present helps make it a reality in the future. Because I'm able to know what I'm gonna feel like when I get there, which means I'm gonna work toward it to make it happen. So
because the feeling's so good, right? That endorphin, that rush that you get from it. Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Cool. Awesome. So we encourage you guys to do this with your own goals, right? Look at your goal that you have set for yourself for this quarter of 2021, or even longer than that, and make sure that who you see yourself as is in alignment with that goal. And if not, reach out to one of us and we can support you in that process of getting yourself in alignment with the goal, because then the likelihood of it happening is going to be so much greater, because you're not going to be working against yourself. You're going to be working with yourself moving forward. And then you can accomplish exactly what you want with less tension, I would say. Yeah. Cool. And next week, in lieu of our Heart Connection call, Kristen is leading a parent workshop. And this parent workshop is at 8 p.m. Central, which is at 6 p.m. Pacific or 9 p.m. Eastern time. And it's going to be 45 minutes to an hour workshop of Kristen leading parents through some language games and activities to improve your relationships with your kids and with yourself.
Yeah, getting that clear communication. So
awesome. And there's an Eventbrite link, and I'm sure Kristen will be sharing it again since we're a week out, either on her Facebook page. I'll be posting it again tonight on mine. I'll be posting it tonight on mine, and then on Heart Connection that you can sign up. We encourage you to invite other individuals who could benefit from this as well. It's a free event. And we want to help individuals know more about this language.
And I want to put in, if any of you live in Iowa, near Kayla, go to JoYo, because she is doing JoYo events live and in person in Iowa. So reach out to her if you live in Iowa and would like to do a live event with her.
Yep. And then I'll be doing live Instagram, Joyo,
Ooh, yay.
on the 25th of February. So I
So
encourage you.
we will put that on Heart Connection.
I will note now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so we'll put that up. Join. So it's the 25th?
You bet. Yep.
Wait.
25th,
At what time?
7 p.m. Central.
Is that a Thursday?
Yes, it is a Thursday.
7 Central. So I'm going to put it on my calendar. So
Yeah.
I've done yoga with Kayla. So she's amazing, very calming and soothing. I highly recommend.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, it'll be a good time. So there's lots of things happening next week that we parent workshop, Joyo, that we encourage you guys to come to and further connect with yourself in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll see you live in 2 weeks.